Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, the show that regrets making that political episode. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. And yeah, I totally agree with that intro line. Like I was telling you earlier, we recorded that episode with hope still in our hearts. So
Yeah.
It is kind of funny to hear it back.
It's almost a shared dilemma because I think I will not ever listen to that episode again just because of where I was coming from. I feel weird releasing that afterwards. I should have just put it out on the damn Tuesday.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm cringing as I'm waking up being like, everybody's springing awake already knowing, and dumb me is telling a silly little story.
I know, but you know what? Also, that's kind of what our show is here for, is to uplift and be petty.
And I think we need to be doing that more than ever.
More than ever, baby. And I did want to say sorry if my voice sounds a little sicky poo.
Amanda's sick again.
I know I was going to say, but it hasn't happened since like last year.
Don't
right?
one-star me.
Don't
If you're a new listener, do not do it.
Amanda's sick again, and I am not about it. No, please don't. My voice is much improved. I don't even know the word to describe it. But Trevin,
Yes.
what is your dreadful dilemma this week?
My dreadful dilemma, interestingly enough, ties to politics, but I promise everybody it's not what you think.
Okay, kind of like the homecoming queen election story.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
I have the weirdest news that I have to share with you and all of our listeners, but I have to do it in a very vague way.
Oh.
Emily and I voted early because it was one of the days I had to drive to the office, and I didn't want to try to make that work on election day.
Yeah.
While I was in line, I looked at one of the political signs, and no joke, one of the people who was up on the ballot was my ex's mom, a woman I have done stories about.
No way!
Yeah.
The ex with the ice cream and the
Yes.
mom and the... she's up for office? Holy!
I'm going to bleep out what that is, and I might bleep out some like things that give things away, but I was shook. I'm sitting here already kind of nervous and thinking like, who's going to watch my poll?
Has she always been involved in politics?
She was very involved with like a union.
Okay, but she would never ran for any other like smaller...
Mm-mm.
No way. You don't have to say, but what party was she?
It's not really specific on that. I don't want to focus too much on that person, but what are the chances of something like that? You know what I mean?
No, that's insane. I don't know what I would do.
A petty criminal, and I'm not trying to start anything, but it blew my mind.
Whew. Don't start nothing. There won't be nothing, Trevin.
Yeah, I just hope there's no ice cream at any of the rallies. Or actually, I guess I hope there is.
So did you vote for her?
Well, that was the thing is I didn't see their name on the ballot, so it must be a different, like, smaller election around on a different day. I don't really know. Or maybe it's just like something coming up next.
We need to see if she has any campaign videos.
Ugh.
Oh my God, would you be so triggered?
I would be. And honestly, just putting this out in the world makes me feel like I'm making a bad mistake. But
how bizarre, though.
Yeah, I'm really not trying to start shit. Imagine if your ex's parent had a political sign right there as you were about to go vote.
Right.
Especially one that you have like a really weird background with.
Yeah, I would be shook.
It was really something. And you and I were doing some business calls at that time for the podcast. And I was trying to also grapple with this feeling at the same time.
Well, no wonder. You said you had a lot going on. Little did I know.
I had a lot going on.
Well, that is dreadful. I also have a dreadful dilemma for everybody out there listening, and it's not about my voice or being sick or the election or any of that, okay? My dreadful dilemma this week, And I think I told you this, that Jordan and I have been rewatching from the beginning Stranger Things. Did I tell you that? I don't know.
If you told me, I was probably too drunk to remember.
No worries. So we went back, and another reason why I wanted to bring this up on the podcast is because I started watching Stranger Things because of you telling me to on repeat on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you. So we watched it through the first time, and now we're rewatching it through a second time. But there is something really dreadful that's happening. Jordan's the type of guy that he likes to have subtitles on.
Oh, God. This is going to be a hot button issue. If your dilemma is just watching stuff with it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope, it's a little more specific. But I know that is a very, what's the word?
It's like a touchy subject for some people.
It's a touchy subject. Some people like them. Some people hate them.
I say get them off my screen. There was a cinematographer involved not to have them covered in blocks.
It depends on the show and the movie for me. I could take it sometimes. I could definitely leave it other times. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Jordan's like, he loves subtitles on always. It's weird. I am not that way.
I didn't even think he could read.
Well, secret's out. He learned. So,
holy shit.
Anyway, blah, blah, blah. The subtitles are on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that has been going on season 1 through season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Every season is one of the descriptive words that they use is squelching. That is the word that they will use in parentheses anytime there's a monster making a disgusting noise or they're going to the upside down other world or whatever, is they'll say squelching. And I'm so tired of seeing that word. It's so gross. And yes, does it fit it perfectly? Yes. But do I need to see that? No.
It's like there's a burp, there's a belch.
And then there's a squelch.
What's the worst thing a man can do on a first date? Squelch.
But honestly, though,
I can actually join you in this. It doesn't gross me out as much as it grosses you out, but it's not a word that I've ever really used or been familiar with. But I do a lot of sound effect work. So when I look up sound libraries, I use a lot of squish sound effects when doing turds dropping on the floor or any number of weird petty crimes. But when I use them now, it says squelch / squish, blah, 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 guts.
No.
And I'm like, squelch? Like,
squelching.
Do people use this word?
They do.
I'm thinking that I somehow missed the boat.
I missed the boat as well because
now it makes me feel yucky.
Now I feel like, why haven't you used that in one of your stories? You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Like, why hasn't it been shoehorned in?
We're like, and the squelching.
She said with a squelch.
But isn't it nasty? I hate it.
It is nasty. It's not a word that I like.
So anyway, whether you do have subtitles or not, I think we can all agree on that the word squelching is disgusting.
It is gross.
And yeah, so we are going to be doing a game of 2 truths and a lie.
I've got 3 wires. Which one do I cut?
I'll give you 2 truths and a lie.
But wait, we don't have time for this. And my brain is so thrown off from like the order of things. I know that we did a Would You Rather pretty recently, so I had just given you a list of 2, and you said 2 truths and a lie. I don't know how recently we actually did it, but I'm really glad we went with 2 truths and a lie this week.
It felt right to me, and I don't know why I immediately was like, 2 truths, but that's what felt right in my soul. So I have 2 truths and a lie for you today about rare allergies.
Ooh, okay.
I am coming from Becker ENT and allergy.com.
Get it, Becker?
Yes, get it, Becker ENT. I loved this article. It was a blog that they did, so check it out if you want to read about a ton more rare allergies. But I'm going to give you 3 of them, and you tell me which one's a lie, okay?
All right, this is fun. Yeah, just spot the fake.
Allergy number 1. Follicle urticaria, an allergy to human hair. Allergy number 2, exercise-induced anaphylaxis, an allergic reaction after physical activity. Or allergy number 3, polymorphous light eruption, a sun allergy.
I feel in my heart of hearts that C is the fake.
And you are incorrect, Buster.
I need a new heart.
Actually, the first one is the lie. Follicle urticaria. I actually took the urticaria from another name of an actual allergy, and I just put follicle in there to tie in the hair thing.
I just felt so smart for knowing the word follicle that I was like, too real.
Yeah, you're like follicle, hair goes hand in hand.
I know it.
I actually couldn't find any allergy to human hair. Not saying that it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying I could not find any evidence of it. That's why I made that one up. But the other two are very much true. So, allergy number 2, exercise-induced anaphylaxis. I was curious if this has ever happened to you because you work out. It is a severe allergic reaction that occurs during or after physical activity. Symptoms can include hives, difficulty breathing, nausea, which to me, those two, I'm going to have difficult time breathing and I might throw up if I'm working out hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean. Facial swelling, and in severe cases, a drop in blood pressure leading to fainting or shock.
I have no idea if I've experienced that. It could just be a time where I went way too hard in the pants.
Right. Exactly. There was a guy that I follow on social media, a YouTuber, and he was talking about after he would lift weights, he would always get hives everywhere. So I'm wondering if he has that.
Mm-hmm. I was recently feeling sick after working out a lot, and it was because I started taking a 24-hour allergy to kind of help me sleep better.
Okay.
And it dehydrated me more.
Oh.
And I was just getting sick because I was like, oh, I'm not drinking enough to compensate for
all that sweat.
Yeah.
And then also, polymorphous light eruption, or PMLE, is true.
The word eruption just felt so fake.
It seems wrong. So this condition causes individuals to develop hives on their skin when exposed to sunlight, basically.
Okay, that's kind of similar to the thing where I did the margarita burn almost.
Yes. So another name that people can call it is photosensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, nah, the polymorphous light eruption is so good. I have to use the official name.
I think I just figured you were feeding me a fake name for a real thing.
Yeah.
And I just thought the eruption.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nope, I tricked you. That was a tough one.
No, I like the whole spot the fake side of it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, this week, I have a confession to make.
Oh.
Last year, I did an NFL-based episode where I talked about the chicken wing crime.
Yes.
And I did the board with the crimes, and you loved that.
Loved it.
That year, I won my man fantasy football league.
Okay.
I was the grand prize winner, the guy who took it home.
You were the man.
As you can see, my statue is right here.
That's your statue from it?
See it? Yeah, it's a football player on a couch.
Oh my God. Okay. I didn't know that's what that was from. Okay. That makes a lot more sense now.
So my name's on it and I get to hold it until the end of the year, and then the person who wins gets to hold it from there.
Oh.
Which will just be me. Again, because I'm a superstitious guy, and because I did an NFL episode last year and I won, I think we should talk a little NFL again today.
Okay, bring it on.
I am going to do 2 truths and a lie about the NFL.
Which, just to clarify, I know nothing about, but let's go on.
I feel like a lot of people probably won't know too much about this, but that's just me. Statement number 1. Former NFL running back James Brooks was arrested in 1999 after owing nearly $1 million in unpaid child support. Statement number 2. Super Bowl 27 was moved from Arizona after the governor removed MLK Day from being a state holiday. Or statement number 3, the I-5 killer was drafted by the Green Bay Packers.
What? Drafted.
As a player, like drafted out of college.
I might be following in the wrong footsteps, but I'm going to do what you said, is see the lie.
You are incorrect.
Damn it. I followed in the wrong footsteps. I knew it. I said it out loud.
The lie was statement number 1.
Oh.
Former NFL running back James Brooks was not arrested for owing nearly $1 million in unpaid child support. His story is a little different.
Okay, I was going to say 1 million is a lot.
It is. I was trying to just make it sound really big, so it was like, oh, it's almost too crazy to not be real, right?
I was thinking, okay, 1 milli. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But then I was like, but he is an NFL guy and they make a
and
lot
it
of
made me
money.
think of Tyreek Hill and how he's just slinging dick. But I think he has like 10 kids now or something.
Good God. Like, you can stop anytime. It's really okay, too.
So coming from Wikipedia about James Brooks, Brooks was arrested in 1999 for failure to pay child support, owing over $110,000. During proceedings, it was revealed that Brooks was illiterate, despite having received a college degree. When asked by the judge how he graduated from Auburn, Brooks said, "I didn't have to go to class." He served 3 months of a 6-month sentence before being assigned to a work release program.
Holy shit.
There's 2 problems here. He never knew that he was owing money because he can't read, and 2, he graduated college because he was so good at football and never had to read.
Oh my God, you guys.
Even cooler than owing $1 million.
Oh my God, yeah, so much cooler.
For the one that got you, the I-5 killer was drafted by the Green Bay Packers.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this killer?
So the I-5 killer, his name is Randall Woodfield. He was dubbed the I-5 killer or the I-5 bandit by the media due to the crimes he committed along the Interstate 5 corridor running through Washington, Oregon, and California. I wonder if our PNW friends covered this.
Ooh, we need to ask them.
Before his capture, Woodfield was suspected of multiple sexual assaults and murders. Though convicted in 1 murder, he has been linked to a total of 18 and is suspected of having killed up to as many as 44.
Holy crap, that is so high. So did he ever play?
For the petty side and my whole part of this with the NFL, he was actually a really good football player. And I'm also coming from his Wikipedia. After graduating from high school, Woodfield's criminal record was expunged. He was just doing perverted acts of like exposing himself in public to people all the time. And much like our guy who is illiterate, was so good at football that they were like, you probably learned your lesson. So they expunged it to get him into college in Ontario, Oregon.
Guys, football is not that important that we need to just be letting these weirdos in.
And this is in 1970. I don't know if I was given the year.
Okay.
The college coach had said when he was with me, he was the nicest, most gentlemanly kid I ever knew. He was quiet and polite, hardworking, and real coachable. Our teammates and peers of Woodfield called him soft-spoken and kind of a loner. Despite thriving in college, Woodfield was arrested on several occasions for petty crimes. First in 1970 for vandalizing the apartment of his ex-girlfriend, and later in 1972 for public indecency. In 1973, he was arrested again for public indecency in Oregon.
Like, put it away.
Woodfield chose to drop out of college 3 semesters shy of graduating and was selected as a wide receiver in 1974 by the Green Bay Packers in the 17th round, which rounds don't go that long anymore. That's way too far out there.
17?
7 is as far as they go now. Woodfield tried to establish himself with the Packers, but he just couldn't shake his problems. He signed a contract in February 1974, but was cut during training camp, failing to make the team's final roster. After being cut, he went and played semi-pro football for Manitowoc Chiefs. But yeah, isn't that crazy? Another situation where football gets you out of it.
They're like, you know what? They can't read. They can't do anything right. But we're going to let them play football. It's like, no, stop.
And then for the other one, Super Bowl 27 was supposed to be played in Tempe, Arizona. And they had this dude who was a real racist in there named Evan Mitchum. Martin Luther King was first a holiday in 1986. So after the guy who originally said it, Bruce Babbitt, retired, then this Evan Mitchum guy came in and was like, that shouldn't be a thing. I hate it. And then he went and wrote it right back off after everybody was like, we took 1 day off, for 1 year. And he said, no, every other state can do it, but not me.
Lord.
So then the NFL was very unhappy about that. And when he did it, they said, okay, we're not going to play the Super Bowl there. So they pulled that out and went and played at the Rose Bowl Stadium in California. But look at this lineup. The person who did the coin toss was O.J. Simpson.
Oh my God.
Halftime show is Michael Jackson, which was an iconic performance. And the national anthem was by Garth Brooks.
Oh my goodness. Haven't all of them done some kind of sketchy things?
I've seen some headlines with Garth Brooks saying like fleeing the country or something, but I don't know anything about it.
You guys, that is a really weird lineup.
Yeah. After that guy got impeached, because people were like, hey, you're a racist, and hey, you cost us the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They got rid of him. They brought somebody else in, and then they ended up saying, Arizona, you can have Super Bowl 30 only if you promise not to fuck up between now and when Super Bowl comes up. And
they were good boys.
Yeah.
Oh, good job.
But they got rid of that loser dude.
Oh, good. Finally, some punishment for bad people.
Accountability.
Love to see it. And you know what else I love to see?
Is it advertisements?
It just might be. And we are back.
I hope you found something new to buy.
Me too. Before I get into my petty crime story this week, I just wanted to reassure everyone listening. This is your big reassuring statement. No one was hurt during this crime, seriously. No adults, no kids. Even though it might seem that way at first, everything's going to be all right.
Oh, good. I don't need to clutch my pearls anymore.
Put your pearls away, put them in your jewelry box,
Okay.
And here we go. There is a moment in time, right before you sneeze, when time starts to slow down. You feel the itchiness building inside your nasal cavity and air puffing about in your lungs. You wonder how it all ends. Will it be a quick burst of nose juice expelling at high speeds? Will the sudden force cause you to pee your pants? Worst of all, you worry if it's all a facade, ending without a sneeze at all. Some people disgorge low sneezes from the bottom of their bellies, while others spew out shrill sneeze screams that damage even the strongest eardrums. These powerful snot rockets infect not only the human population with illnesses, but the petty crime world at large. Boogie burglars and mucus-filled mischiefs sludge around every corner, just waiting to spray their prey. Today's story takes place during a time where snotty criminals multiply and spread. Grab your tissues and your decongestants as we enter the dark orifice of allergy season. Pollen covered the city of Brockton, Massachusetts during April of 2019, causing residents of all ages and species to sniffle, cough, and sneeze. For 21-year-old Brianna Reyes, these symptoms were expected for this time of year. She was allergic to almost everything outside, including grass, trees, shrubs, and leaves. Brianna dreaded venturing outdoors because she knew hives and hacking were sure to follow. Yet she knew she couldn't avoid her allergies forever. Brianna was a busy working mom who had to leave her house regardless of her symptoms. She started her day off by drinking a warm honey tea and snorting some antihistamines. Brianna poured some cereal for herself, her young son, and husband, then got dressed for work. Although she remained determined to survive the next few hours without any hiccups, her day was unfortunately filled with many allergy-related inconveniences. Brianna decided to splurge on a fancy Starbucks coffee order.
I'll take a venti iced white mocha with vanilla sweet cream, cold foam, and extra caramel drizzle, please.
Only to have it slip through her swollen fingers and pour right onto her lap. Arriving at work, she held the elevator door open for her coworkers when a sudden sneezing fit struck, causing her unathletic colleagues to sprint for the stairs.
I want to live!
Customers hung up mid-phone call because of her unattractive, sick voice.
Lose my number, you gruff fuck.
The head of HR mistook her watery eyes for a death in the family.
I'm here if you need a shoulder to cry on.
And her boss refused to shake her germy hand.
Yeah, how about an air high five?
By the time Brianna arrived at her son's daycare, her eyes were red and puffy, her throat was nearly closed, and her spirit was badly bruised. She parked her vehicle and slowly sauntered to the daycare's entrance, only instead of ringing the bell and being allowed in, a worker cautiously approached the glass door holding disinfectant.
Pardon my language, Miss Reyes, but you look like absolute doo-doo. I'll just have you wait outside so you don't infect the littles. I'll bring your son out shortly.
Brianna sighed and nodded in defeat, feeling like an unwanted and dangerous mucus monster. The rest of the night was a muted blur, mostly due to Brianna's ears and eyes being full of fluids, and partially because of her exhaustion. She snorted through dinner, wheezed through dessert, and chewed on repeat during bath time. It was right before Brianna and her husband were set to lay their son down for bed when they realized a grave mistake. They were fresh out of milk. Knowing bedtime was impossible without a full baby bottle, the tired family buckled into their car and sped towards the store.
I really should have drove, Brianna. You're in no condition to be behind the wheel.
Brianna's husband said half-heartedly and with zero follow-through.
But then how would you ever manage to scroll on Instagram?
Brianna snapped back, using her last amount of the day's sarcasm. Putting the pedal to the metal, Brianna whipped around slow cruisers and dodged the suicidal city squirrels. All she wanted was to be back at home and in bed with her humidifier. As if her day couldn't have gotten any worse, she felt a powerful force building deep down in her throat. She tried to swallow it, but it grew, becoming itchy and uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Brianna said with a nasally and worrisome tone, but it was too late. She knew it was only a matter of seconds before her nose erupted in a forceful and deadly sneeze. With Brianna's body completely taken over by a sneeze demon, her eyes shut, her foot floored the accelerator, and her arms whipped the steering wheel to the right. In a flash, the car had bumped across the street median, swerved through oncoming traffic, and slammed into the large glass windows of a combined gas station and coffee shop. On Thursday, April 18th, 2019, at around 10:07 p.m., a crash was reported at 945 Belmont Street in Brockton, Massachusetts. Reports state that a Honda Accord crashed into a combined West Side Shell gas station and Mary Lou's coffee shop. The collision badly damaged the building, causing the large glass window to shatter and come crashing down onto the street. Brockton police spokesperson Darren Duarte was quoted about the event, stating, "The vehicle jumped a curb and drove through the bushes and the parking lot of the Shell gas station before crashing into the convenience store. The male passenger exited the vehicle and took his son with him, who was in the back. He and his son fled the area before emergency crews arrived." The driver was identified by police as 21-year-old Brianna Reyes, and when asked what caused the crash, she explained that she sneezed, causing her to lose control of the car. Brianna's mother, Maria Benitez, said her daughter was in the crash with her husband and their 18-month-old child. She was quoted saying, "The father escorted the child to the hospital and was admitted way before the mother, who was taken by ambulance, got to the hospital. I personally think he did the right thing." Additionally, she stated the following day that her daughter and the child were doing well and resting. Although she didn't suffer any major injuries, there were pictures posted on a local news outlet called The Enterprise. These photos showed Brianna wearing a neck brace in the back of an ambulance, with her phone in one hand and flipping off the camera person with the other. It appears that not everyone believed the sneeze story, as Brianna faced both online backlash and official charges. She was summoned to court on charges of reckless operation of a motor vehicle, malicious destruction of property over $1,200, and a marked lanes violation. No punishments were found online. There is a moment in time right before you sneeze when time starts to slow down. Perhaps you are in a safe environment with ample opportunity to blow your boogies into your elbow or to grab a tissue. On the other hand, perhaps you find yourself in a less than ideal sneeze scenario, like today's criminal. To those struggling with the sniffles or consumed by coughs, I encourage you to stay safe and stay home, because there is no amount of medicine or blessings that can prevent those nose slimes or petty crimes.
Boogie with an attitude.
Boogie woogie.
I loved all the gross wordage that you used.
Would have been the perfect story for me to put squelching in there.
That's a good point. I'm surprised you didn't shoehorn that in.
I should have, just to be funny. God dang, I really missed the mark. Let's see if we can add it in there. Squelching. I did want to say I had very little information on this one, like usual. Mm-hmm. I decided to tell the story as if the car did crash indeed because of a sneeze. And I added all the sticky allergy information, all the things in the beginning. But I will say there were a ton of haters on the local Facebook. Mm-hmm. It was like a local news Facebook page. And then the Enterprise was like this local thing. But there were a lot of mean comments that were not buying the sneeze thing.
What do they think her motive is?
I know, which I'm like, guys, if she was like drinking and driving, she would have been charged with that, right?
I'm sure somebody already thought about testing her for it, yeah.
I think a lot of people think she was just driving aggressively and being a reckless driver and that it wasn't just because of a sneeze. And I will say, seeing her in the neck brace with her hand and like flipping off the camera, like she does look pretty sassy. I must say.
Kind of attract haters when you're acting like that.
So I had to put that in there just to have the whole picture for you guys. Also, I'm glad nobody was seriously hurt. I mean, kid in the car, that's always scary. That's why I wanted to put that disclaimer. Nobody was hurt. No one was hurt, not even the baby. It was kind of weird that the dad took the kid away before emergency things came, but I did see in a few of the follow-up things, and like the mom said, he took him to the hospital. So that was good, just to get checked out.
I will say, you gave me a bit of a scare before you started when you're like, nobody was hurt. It's going to seem like somebody was hurt, but nobody was hurt. And I'm like, good God, what are you like getting me ready for?
Well,
Bodies everywhere.
Anytime there's a kid, especially an 18-month-old being in the car, I was like, I just want to make this like very apparent before I even say it. And, you know, I mean, they could have been hurt. Mm-hmm. There were people working in the shops, both of the coffee shop and the gas station at the time. Mm-hmm. None of them got hurt.
That's good.
No pedestrians on the street got hurt. So that's great. I wrote it as if the sneeze did happen because, I mean...
That's the excuse?
That's what she said.
Yeah. I can get some kind of violent sneezes. It actually was going to be a dilemma of mine one day, but Mabel is so triggered by my sneezes that if I sneeze, she'll bark, bark, bark. It's like I throw the vibe off so bad with my sneezes. And my sneezes aren't like violent.
I'm trying to even remember what your sneezes even sound like.
Well, sometimes my loose bulldog jowls will go... It's sort of duckish. But of course, I can stifle it if I need to.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the act of me sneezing in general. Even when I do stifle it, if she catches one and there's a second one, you bet your ass she's barking.
She doesn't like that demons are trying to overtake your soul or whatever they say about sneezes.
But Emily forces the most violent one she cannot trigger Mabel at all. It's the weirdest thing.
Just a you problem,
Just a me problem. But the reason why I brought that up, I don't know if my sneezes are violent enough to really affect my driving. I mean, some people are very violent sneezers. The bodily function for me is if you have to pee really bad is when my driving is at the most dangerous.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about that once before on the show, but it's worth repeating. It's very terrible.
You're like, if I have to pee, watch the fuck out on the road.
Yeah, stop signs. I'm colorblind at that point.
Yeah, it's all yellow. Or clear if you're hydrated.
I'm trying to think about your sneezes, though, but you're not so violent that it would really affect your driving that bad.
No, I mean, I have definitely sneezed while driving, and it does always scare me, especially when you're going fast on the highway, because your eyes technically are shut for a few seconds. So I could see how it could cause something, but to go over the median and to still keep going and to still keep going.
That is wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I do have some aggressive sneezes. I have a bunch of different kinds. I have like really gentle ones, really aggressive ones, high-pitched ones, low-pitched ones. You know, I have all of them. I was really feeling the variety of sneezes because I experienced them too. So.
Yeah, with sound effects, this is going to be a gross story.
Gross. I'm so sorry, you guys. And I'm telling it while I sound ill. It's like horrible. I'm so sorry.
I love full circle moments like that. I think that's one thing about our show and being able to be the people that write their own stories is we can relate things to our own lives within the stories. And I think it just makes it way more personal. And it keeps me feeling fresh to come and make a story once a week because it's still a way for me to express myself.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if I find a new attitude era. I gotta say, I might get a little angry.
That's fine. Go off, Queen.
That was one thing I was thinking. I was like, I just got over my last attitude era.
I know, but you know what?
I'm just an angsty bitch who will always have an attitude.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be something that you are feeling a type of way about. Same with me. It's okay.
If it's not your job, it's something else. So this week, I actually do have a story that there's something about it. This is like the perfect story for me.
Oh, okay.
It's almost a Trevin bingo. It really does connect to a few of my favorite things. But as I had said, because I'm superstitious and this whole episode is just so I take home the gold this year.
Yeah.
My story will also be NFL related.
Okay. I was wondering.
If I win and keep the trophy here, Don't be surprised if it happens again. Because I found a lot of weird facts about the NFL.
I'm sure you did.
This week, my story is from the news, and it is very, very, very recent from the day that we are recording this. It actually has to do with our own hometown team, and I could not believe that I got so lucky.
No way!
Yep.
Okay, Kansas City Chiefs.
So, whoever you're rooting for, let's go team.
Let's go.
We all know the saying about living in someone else's shadow. Maybe you had a sibling who was a sports star, while your only real talent was clearing your plate. Or perhaps your life is like a Hallmark movie. You return to your hometown after 20 years, only to hear people reminiscing about your late parent, who was the town hero.
This round's on me. His dad taught me how to love.
But when your family's accomplishments grow beyond hometown heroics and climb to actual fame, things take a far darker turn for their next of kin. It's not just the smothering of attention or recognition. It's a whole new spotlight, one that mercilessly illuminates every detail of your personal life. Being related to a celebrity is a strange kind of popularity, one that comes without the privilege of success or the promise of respect. Privacy slowly morphs into public knowledge, little by little, until the only thing that's truly yours is a simmering resentment for your famous relative. Friends, strangers, and reporters assume they know you, as if greatness or scandal is somehow shared by blood or through some miracle of proximity. You become part of their story, whether you signed up for it or not, and their battles often become your own to shoulder, endure, or explain away. Today, I have a petty crime story for you that not only dives into the struggle of unwanted fame from a celebrity relative, but also touches on a couple of my favorite topics from the show, starting with my beloved hometown football team, the Kansas City Chiefs. So go ahead and start plotting the sabotage of your family's hopes and dreams now, because after this, you won't want to risk any of them finding success. 'Twas the day of a Chiefs game, and all through the apartment, not a creature was stirring, but that was to be expected. On the internet, however, the same could not be said, for NFL fans were amassing to unload the opinions in their heads.
Every team but my own cheats, and it's fucking bullshit!
I've been on disability for a stub toe for over a decade, and even I could have made that 70-yard field goal.
Let's put these extremely talented and dedicated athletes in my shitty warehouse job and see just how they handle real men's labor.
Meet Marsha, a 43-year-old woman living in an undisclosed city in Texas. For Marsha, every day began as peacefully as the quiet scene before. She woke up in a cozy apartment surrounded by her favorite things, with a comfortable social life and a group of local friends.
I love you, girls.
But the judgment of the internet loomed heavy, like an invisible fog creeping into her day, fog that could only be viewed through the lens of a smartphone. Because of this, Marsha chose to live in the real world as much as possible. She kept a tight circle of friends who knew that she and her family were good people, unshaken by public opinion. But even with her self-imposed boundaries, there was no true escape from the omnipresent reach of the internet. Any stranger could suddenly turn, driven by the strong views they held about her and her son.
He should be in jail!
She thought back to that night 6 months ago, hearing it on the news before hearing it from her own son.
Chief star wide receiver Marsha Rice involved in a street race that led to 6-vehicle crash, leaving 2 in the hospital.
Going from college student to rookie Super Bowl champion, and now facing 8 felony charges, it was a lot for a 24-year-old to handle. With his charges still pending, the NFL had decided to delay his suspension until the legal process played out. But that didn't stop fans from weighing in on NFL posts, Chiefs photos, his tweets, and even her own personal cooking blog. Every comment was the same, calls for her son to be jailed or suspended. But what was he supposed to do? Skip work just because people thought he didn't deserve to be there? And why of all places was her famous Big Kahuna tuna casserole recipe the forum for their outrage? Suddenly, everyone had an opinion on her and her family, and the world felt a little less safe. Then there was her own lingering guilt, which only made things more complicated, a nagging feeling that she might somehow be to blame. After all, she'd been diagnosed at a young age with genetically sticky fingers, an early indicator of petty criminality. Even as an adult, she'd get the occasional flare-up, feeling an irresistible urge to swipe snacks from a friend's cabinet or snag laundry detergent just to ease the symptoms. Doctors had assured her it wasn't hereditary, yet here they were. Like the sentiment of that classic song, Mo Money, Mo Problems, performed by Biggie and that Predator P. Diddy. Her son's level of thrills wouldn't stay as small as hers, not with his level of fame and success. Marsha managed to navigate this time of intense public scrutiny by sticking to people she trusted and avoiding places where she might be recognized. But when her cool coworker, Mackenzie C., invited her to a football watch party, she felt a new surge of bravery. Mackenzie was hands down the most stylish and admired person in the office. She listened to obscure podcasts and casually dropped hip words like cringe into everyday conversation.
So trendy.
This week's game was in Los Angeles, so attending in person was off the table. Winning some office cool points felt like the next best thing. Marsha slipped into her custom-made jersey, a playful redesign of her son's, but with Mama Rice on the back. It was always a great conversation starter among Chiefs fans at the stadium.
There she is!
And a Chiefs watch party at Slim Dick's, a hip bar she'd never heard of, seemed like the perfect place to show it off.
Mama Rice!
The Texas-based Chiefs fans cheered as Marsha walked through the door. She was met with a queen's welcome, everyone buzzing with excitement to watch a game along someone with a real personal stake in it.
Right this way, Queen.
Mackenzie said, sipping an Aperol spritz. Marsha took the seat Mackenzie gestured towards. Sure, Mackenzie might see her as a Chiefs celebrity, but to Marsha, Mackenzie was practically a celebrity herself. An Aperol spritz? Marsha thought that drink only existed in White Lotus Season 2. She ordered one for herself and joined in on the conversation, spilling some fun behind-the-scenes gossip.
Patrick Mahomes loves car insurance.
It was a pregame celebration like no other, with plenty of appetizers and laughs to go around. But not long after the Week 4 matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and Kansas City Chiefs began, tragedy struck. The situation started rough.
Interception, Mahomes!
The announcer groaned, and it only got worse.
Now Rashi Rice is down!
In an attempt to tackle the defender who intercepted his pass, Patrick Mahomes had collided with the front of Marsha's son, forcing Rashi's knee to bend in the wrong direction.
This is gonna make walking very difficult, Chuck.
A second announcer added grimly. Marsha watched in horror as Rashi was placed on a medical cart and driven off the field. The exact injury wasn't known yet, but everyone feared the worst. Experts speculated it was probably a torn ACL, while Coach Andy Reid gave an early statement.
It's not good.
She hung her head in sadness, wishing she could be by her son's side.
I'm so sorry about Rashi, Marsha.
Mackenzie said, attempting to console her.
If you need anything, let us know. Want another Aperol Spritz?
Just then, her phone buzzed. Leaving Mackenzie waiting, Marsha checked her phone and saw a Google alert about her son. She tapped on a Facebook post from the NFL, hoping for updates on his injury, but instead took a sinister stumble into the comments section.
Karma, anyone?
Read one comment, setting off a chain reaction. Others piled on, eagerly dredging up her son's recent charges and speculating on the lack of consequences.
Serves him right.
Unchecked masculine opinions echoed through the thread, as ordinary men with smartphones critiqued every aspect of the incident, each convinced they could have handled it better.
How dare someone make a mistake in their life?
The stress and anxiety of the moment started to weigh heavily on Marsha. She began to wonder if the sympathetic glances from others at the bar masked the same judgment as the comments online. The tension crawled up her neck, and she clenched her fists, her hands growing uncomfortably sticky with the urge she thought she'd left behind.
Oh no! Not a flare-up now!
She thought, her gaze drifting to Mackenzie's purse, and more specifically, to the gleaming bejeweled claw clip resting on top. In her 40-plus years, Marsha had learned to keep her sticky fingers in check, but in moments of high stress, they often had a mind of their own.
Are you okay, honey?
Asked a concerned voice nearby as a stranger swooped in for an overly comforting hug, pressing an impressive bosom into Marsha's face. Although it was an awkwardly close encounter, Marsha didn't mind. She couldn't take her eyes off the sparkling diamond necklace adorning the faceless woman's neck. She fought the urge, deciding to distance herself from temptation.
I'm really sorry,
she said, glancing at her temporary girl gang for the day.
I'm feeling a little emotional about the injury. I think I'm going to head home. That was great. I'll see you all at work.
With her keys in hand, Marsha stood up from her booth and made her way toward the exit, her hands feeling stickier by the second. The waitress's cell phone tucked in a back pocket, the diner's forks, and even the jar of mints by the front door all felt like tantalizing opportunities to indulge her urges, as she remained resolute, exiting Slim Dick's and heading home. The whole way home, thoughts of larceny mixed with her simmering maternal anxieties, scratching away relentlessly at her mind. The adhesiveness of her hands intensified, and the unwelcome public gaze he'd now be under weighed heavily on her, compounding her frustration. As she swung open the door to her apartment building, a draft of cool, stale air blew through the holes of her jersey, but even that couldn't distract her from the rising itch within her. She knew she was just a few sets of stairs away from the haven of her apartment, yet the silence of the empty hallway seemed to press in on her, amplifying her quickened breath. As she made her way down the hallway, Marsha watched the door numbers change. She passed 7A, 8A, moved around the package in front of 9A, and then over to 10A, before stopping dead in her tracks. She looked back at the package in front of 9A. It looked so lonely, almost like it was waiting for someone to care about it, to make it feel safe. In that moment, a surge of empathy mixed within her frustration, as if bringing the package inside could somehow ease her own helplessness about her son's pain. Marsha's fingertips ached as they grew tiny little spikes, like the scene where Tobey Maguire recognizes his powers in the Spider-Man movie from 2002. Her fingers were so sticky, she could crawl up walls. Careful not to raise suspicions, Marsha slowly walked past the door again, inspecting her target the whole way. She licked her chops, wondering what riches lay within this large, padded envelope. Her pulse quickened as she imagined the thrill of uncovering a little piece of luxury, a small indulgence that could momentarily dull the aches she felt for her son. Walking back by, heading towards her apartment, she casually stopped and picked up the package, feeling a brief sense of control slip over her as she carried it toward the door. She entered her home, flipping on the lights to examine her loot. Carefully tearing the package, she removed its contents. It was a thick cardboard sleeve with the photo of a beautiful redhead on the front. Stuck to the packaging was a pink sticker that read, "The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess." It was a record. Marsha admired the trendiness of having a record in 2024, not to mention one for music that looks so cool and iconic. This was the kind of music someone like Mackenzie would listen to, and learning the songs may actually give her some more cool points at work. Although her son's season was believed to be over, and had opened a whole new avenue for unaware football fans to harass her family, she found the silver lining in the serendipitous meet-cute she just had with this new artist, Chapel Roan. With a deep breath, Marsha lit a candle and dusted off the old record player, playing the first track off her new record. On September 29th, 2024, 43-year-old Marsha Kearney, mother of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, was caught on a neighbor's doorbell camera walking past multiple times before allegedly stealing a package left on their doorstep. According to reports, the package contained Chapel Roan records. Kearney was identified in the footage primarily by her custom-made Mama Rice Chiefs jersey, which was clearly visible in the video. A warrant was issued for her arrest on October 8th, and she turned herself in to the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office on October 15th, facing 1 count of misdemeanor theft. She is due in court in November for this matter. Earlier this year, Kearney was also charged with theft after being accused of stealing various household items, including food, tumblers, laundry products, merchandise, and socks. This case was dismissed after Kearney complied with, quote, unspecified conditions, according to TMZ. Her son Rashee Rice is currently awaiting trial for his alleged involvement in a 6-car crash in Dallas on March 30th, which sent 2 people to the hospital. Rice faces 8 charges, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of collision involving serious bodily injury, and 6 counts of collision involving injury. In terms of his injury, updates from an October media interview reported that Rashee had undergone successful knee surgery. There's a slim chance he could return if the Chiefs make it to this year's Super Bowl. However, he'll likely miss the entire season due to a recovery timeline similar to that of an ACL tear. This story had to jump straight to the top of my list. Not only does it tie in with my favorite sports team, one I've mentioned many times on this show, but the theft of Chapel Roan records? That's just the beautiful red-headed cherry on top. And as the Midwest princess of podcasting, I couldn't imagine anyone better suited to tell this tale. Having a famous relative sounds like an inconvenient and vulnerable position, especially when the court of public opinion judges you by their actions. I can't pretend to know how that feels, but let's be real. I can't exactly defend swiping random laundry products, stealing food, or porch pirating. That's a bit much. So if you have a relative slowly climbing the fame ladder, inching closer to the spotlight, maybe this story is your cue to start subtly sabotaging their dreams. Their rise could be your downfall, especially if you've got a stash of petty crimes you'd rather keep hidden. Whatever your petty crime of choice, just avoid being a porch pirate, the lowest of the low for petty criminals. And above all, when committing a more respectable petty crime, leave the incriminating custom jersey at home. That's a true rookie move.
Good one. We both basically told everyone to just stay home at the end of our stories. That's funny.
Honestly, I almost kind of wanted to start the episode with that note too.
Stay home, everyone. I didn't hear about this story. That's crazy.
I can't believe I did because it wasn't through my regular channels.
Yeah.
I follow the Chiefs Kingdom because they do the really insider stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody had said something about Rashi Rice's mom stealing a Chapel Roan record. And I'm just like, head
what
exploded.
are the chances of that? Talk about tying it all together.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, before we talk about your crime, can we give Mackenzie a shout out? Shout out.
Yes, Mackenzie, thank you for being a felon now, which you haven't sent out her stickers yet, right?
Did she
just
upgrade or
signed up,
did
I
she
think.
just join? I haven't sent it yet.
So we'll be getting you your stickers here soon.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much. She was one of our active members in the group.
Nice.
We had a conversation about stickers and everybody was having a dreadful dilemma about what they do with all their stickers because they collect so many stickers. And somebody had said, oh, well, I don't like to put them on anything because I'm afraid that I wasted it. And I feel that same way all the time. And I'm like, I have a huge collection from all these podcast things I go to. And it's like, I keep saying I'll put it on my guitar case, but then I feel like that doesn't show them off well enough.
Yeah.
But then again, I have them in a drawer and they're never seen.
I know.
So everybody had a bunch of different ideas. And Mackenzie said she was going to go buy some stickers. And I said, why don't you just sign up for Patreon? You can get some.
There you go. Oh my God. Well, Mackenzie, thank you so much. If you guys want to have your name in a petty crime story, sign up as a felony member on Patreon. Why don't you?
Yeah, please do. But this crime, it just jumped off the page for me. And this reminds me so much of a seriously sinister story for us because it's so simple. But the only thing that makes it really deep and interesting is who she is and like his very storied career that's only been 2 years long, not even 2 years. But yeah, I just felt like it was the perfect vehicle to tell that story while still keeping with a petty crime and having a bigger crime in there as well. But it was very funny because she literally does walk past the door a couple times and you can just tell she's like, that doesn't look too bad. And she's wearing a jersey with Mama Rice right on the back.
Mama Rice jersey.
It reminded me, like, seriously sinister. We had such a stretch there for a bit where it was talking about they put a camera out or they were just caught on camera. And that was so simple. And you were wearing an incriminating shirt. Like, that alone, that wasn't the headlines either. Everybody just says, Rashi Rice's mom. Some people put Chapel Roan in the thing saying stealing Chapel Roan records because, you know, the SEO and everything. But
exactly.
But not a lot of people point out the fact that it was wearing an incriminating jersey.
Yeah, that to me is the part that makes it so over the top. Not only is your son well known, but then you're just displaying it as you're committing this crime.
And they keep saying on their porch, which I've never really lived in an apartment, so I don't know if you still call it your porch, but they kept saying porch, but the doorbell looked like a hallway. So that was very tricky for me to understand, but it did seem like she was walking between doors. But it was also her apartment building too, so if people knew, oh, hey, the mom of a famous football player lives here, it's not just wearing a Mama Rice shirt in public, it's wearing it at your place you live.
Don't steal where you sleep,
Yeah.
baby.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yes, like, my God. They know you because of that. They know you because you live there.
Mm-hmm.
I did point this out in the middle of recording, but our connections this week, we both talked about sticky, slimy behavior.
Yeah, the sticky fingers bit came to me. Emily's family, we had a cookout, and somebody said they have very sticky fingers, and Emily said, I have genetically sticky fingers. And it really stuck with me overnight. And then I was writing the story and I was like, oh my gosh, I should actually write it as if it's like an illness.
A genetic thing.
And also, I do want to say this. I hope that my Tobey Maguire joke landed with you guys because it was something that I found so funny to think about making like a GIF.
A GIF.
Making a GIF for you all because I just imagine one that says like Rashi Rice's mom sees a package and then it's just the Tobey Maguire GIF of him looking at his fingertips and seeing the little spikes grow out.
I loved it.
It really connected to my 12-year-old self, and that was very important. So I just had to put it in there, but it was totally forced in there. I'll tell you, it didn't feel natural to put it in the story.
It needed to be there, though.
But it really touched me.
Yeah.
And it stuck.
And it stuck, but wow. So that was a definite tie-in, and I hope that the slimy stickiness doesn't gross everyone out too much.
No. Also, I was very happy to have Chapel Roan in a story where I wasn't forcing it in.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, please come in here.
That's the fun about our story. It's like, what's going to be true and what's not? And you just think, Trevin, you already did the Chapel Roan bit like 3 back. You can't do it again. Oh, if it's true, I can.
It's factual. From here on out, we only do crimes related to her.
Welcome back to Chapel Crimes.
Oh my God. Well, I hope everyone is having the best week. And just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to steal a chaperone or two.
Bye.
See ya.
If you need some more squelching in your life, come on over to Patreon. Movie nights, ad-free episodes, parody songs, and more.
Do you have an ex's parent that found themselves on the campaign trail? If so, tell us about it on social media. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And have you ever sneezed so hard you crashed your car into a building? If so, send us your petty crime story, livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And judge us not by our squelches. Judge us by the quality of our show. Give us 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods.
There is a moment in time, right before you sneeze, when time starts to slow down. You feel the itchy nut. Oh, God, this is going to be one of those, isn't it?
The itchy nuts.
The itchy nuts.
You feel the itchy nuts.
You feel the itchy nuts.